Hey everybody, this is Professor Jason Snart, just welcoming you to English 1102 Online for at least the first 8 weeks in the fall 2011 semester. I do a lot of these, or a bunch of these video kind of check-ins or announcements, just to establish a little bit of what we don't have in the face-to-face environment, which is just kind of a connection with me, like I'm an actual person in an actual room, somewhere. So that sense of, being in a class with an actual professor and there's other students involved, which doesn't always happen when we do online classes, and sometimes it's easy to kind of get disengaged a little bit. And not always, but often the work that you're doing sort of suffers because you're not really fully engaged or interested in what's going on. So these are very informal, unscripted, nothing super fancy here. Really, to get us started, I just want to say hi, and I am in our course in Blackboard here, so I'm looking at the same things that you are. So to get us started for this week, obviously read through the Read Me First section here. It kind of gives you just a couple of pointers as far as basic, technical requirements you want to have. Skype is a really great way of keeping in touch with me. If it's instant message, we can even video Skype. I can actually look at essays that you're working on because I can share the desktop of your computer. So if you use Skype already, you can look me up and add me as a contact. If you don't, it's free. It's not too invasive as far as your computer goes. So you may want to look into that. So that's all pretty simple. In terms of how the course works, again, hopefully fairly straightforward. We obviously have a series of units that we work through, and then of course the corresponding due dates. You can click yourself into the links here. So for Unit 1, we're looking at a due date of Thursday, August 5th. Obviously, in our 8-week time frame, things are a little more compressed than they would be if we had the usual 16 weeks. So what might normally take us a week now just takes us a couple of days, really. So we get into a pretty regular routine, Thursdays and Mondays being due dates. One of the things that I really suggest is that you kind of look through all of the due dates here to see how they're spaced out. See where, essays are due, that kind of stuff. And then obviously you can even kind of click yourself into the units just to again see what kinds of materials we're working through, where the bigger assignments are, and that kind of stuff. So the course is meant to be sort of self-explanatory, so you can work through it. Hopefully everything's clear as far as step-by-step instructions, expectations and requirements, and all that kind of stuff. But I do add usually mostly just reminders as opposed to brand new information through these announcements. So especially because we're looking at just an 8-week term here, you really do want to get into the habit of checking into Blackboard almost every day. You don't have to spend a lot of time in there, but even if you've looked at Unit 1 and you know what to do, and even if you've finished it honestly before the due date, there may be new video announcements like this, or just text announcements that I put in there. So again, you just want to feel sort of engaged with the class, even though it's online and you're in your pajamas right now or whatever's going on. Okay, so Unit 1, fairly straightforward just to get us going. Has you just introducing yourself in a couple of different ways here. Through a student homepage, really crucial that you've got a picture in there so we can see each other in the class. And then there's also a discussion board. You're kind of repeating a little bit the act of introducing yourself. You don't want to just cut and paste verbatim the text, but part of the point is just getting you to use the discussion board for this first time to get a little more comfortable with it. It'll be one of the primary tools we use really throughout the course, so good to get used to how they operate and how to navigate around them and that kind of stuff. As far as other stuff to complete for Unit 1, really a lot of it is just sort of getting comfortable with the layout of the course. So click through the links, see which folders are in which other folders, that kind of stuff. Obviously you want to click into the student home pages to create your own, but also to see other people's as well. And there's actually a bunch of people who've done them. I'm just looking at them right now. So for the most part, they look great. Lots of really interesting people. Honestly, you get such a mix of people taking these classes. This is why, especially for a course like ours, it's really great to actually see people and that they have lives outside of just being online, which we know is true, but it's funny, we don't necessarily connect with people so well in the online environment. So hopefully these little quirky video announcements and some of the introductory stuff we do in the first unit gets us a little more cohesive as much as possible, despite the fact that we are just entirely online. So before I go then, the one thing that I'll really harp on throughout the course here, but particularly now, since now is when you want to be aware, is that especially because of the 8-week format, you really want to stay on top of the work, especially once the semester gets rolling. The work for our class gets a little more intensive. The work for all your other classes gets more intensive. You have family responsibilities, work responsibilities. Everyone's got a lot on their plate. You really want to stay on top of things, because once you fall back a little bit, it's hard to catch up, and then you're too busy to do the new stuff because you're doing the old stuff. Again, really watch those due dates. Get stuff done early, not always posting at the very last minute. And obviously, if you run into any technical difficulties or just little concerns or questions, or you're just not quite comfortable with how things are supposed to work, just be in touch with me. My contact info is in the course itself. Phone, email is really good. I'll get back to you right away. Skype is good if you want more of that sort of real-time discussion. But don't hesitate to be in touch with me. Okay, so that's it for now, and I'll be in touch probably within the next couple days to say hi again.